I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, Artificial Intelligence Makes CRM Work. We appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us. Just a couple of housekeeping items we'd like to mention before we begin. All attendees are in listen-only mode. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please submit them through the GoToWebinar question box. We'll be answering questions following the presentation. We're also recording today's session, so everyone will receive a copy of it in tomorrow's follow-up email. I'd like to go ahead and introduce today's speakers, Robbie Morrison and Dave Wallen. Robbie is our Chief Solution Strategist and a top technology leader and system architect with extensive knowledge of Microsoft Dynamics AX D365, cloud and infrastructure products, with a unique ability to identify and apply technology solutions to help organizations rapidly overcome business challenges for companies of all sizes. While Dave Wallen is responsible for all of our product marketing, the CRM space is special for him. He was marketing and selling CRM solutions as far back as 1999. Prior to joining Velosio, he was head of marketing for a software company called Field One, which was acquired by Microsoft and is the underlying technology of Dynamics 365 Field Services. So at this point, Robbie and Dave, I believe we're ready to transition over to you to get started.
Great, thanks, Rebecca. Can you hear me? Am I loud and clear?
Yes.
Excellent. So everybody, we're here today to talk about how artificial intelligence capabilities available today can have a dramatic impact on the effectiveness of CRM systems and a huge increase in the value that businesses derive from an investment in CRM technology. Get my PowerPoint to start moving. There we go. So we're going to start with a look at the CRM market and identify the challenges that businesses have faced in implementing CRM technology, which, as you'll soon see, are not primarily process or systems issues, but people problems. I will explain how that has been a drag on CRM success and how AI, artificial intelligence, can address those issues. Then Robbie's going to take over, provide an overview and demonstration of the capabilities of our AI solution for CRM called SalesConnect. We'll wrap up with a Q&A session, and we're going to introduce a special offer for Velosio customers interested in this solution. So to have a meaningful discussion about the success or failure of CRM, we need to start with the basics, right? Why do companies invest in CRM? What are their goals? What are they trying to accomplish? And while particulars vary from company to company, we've identified these 6 as the most universal drivers. Companies are trying to measure the value of their clients and accounts and personalize sales and service accordingly. They want accurate forecasting of top-line revenues for planning and budgeting. They want to gain insight into what their customers are thinking, want more to be able to assess sales and customer service performance across key metrics. Most of all, I think, is they want to improve win and retention rates, and they want to reduce the time and resources wasted through inefficient processes. With those goals in mind, the history of CRM has 2 seemingly contradictory narratives, right? Adoption rates are high. According to a recent Forrester survey, more than 75% of small and medium businesses and better than 80% of enterprise companies have invested in CRM solutions. With this level of adoption, it can be argued that CRM software is an essential for businesses of all sizes if they want to remain competitive. This is a great statistic for the CRM industry, but there's another side of the coin. Historically, the failure rate for CRM projects is notoriously high. And while investment continues to increase, satisfaction with results has remained mediocre at best. And this chart illustrates the benchmark surveys through the years. The picture is even worse than it looks when you bear in mind that these are self-reported failure rates, which are generally higher than independent surveys. Also, if the respondents' only goal was to achieve an electronic Rolodex and a central note system, they would rate their implementation as a success. So in summary, the history of CRM has been great for software publishers and SaaS providers, not so great for customers. And there's no lack of thought leadership on why CRM projects fail to deliver business impact. These include challenges around the technology itself, infrastructure, business process, implementation methodology, and execution. But the primary underlying issues are people problems, as illustrated here in a figure from Forrester. The traditional way businesses have tried to address these issues is increased investment in upfront consulting, development, training, and ongoing support and administration. and this has been a boon for CRM consulting organizations. But there's only anecdotal evidence of a direct correlation between increased investment in consulting services and project success. Why? Because additional investment can incrementally improve the probability of project success through superior execution, but does not address the underlying fundamental people problems. Traditional CRM implementations fail when they are designed with the expectation that people, who are an integral part of every CRM system, will behave in ways contrary to human nature. We love our salespeople, but the reliance on salespeople as the primary data entry vehicle for CRM is the foundational problem with traditional CRM systems and the underlying reason for project failure. In general, they're the only people entering information, and spending significant time on data and notes entry is contrary to salespeople's motivations, their compensation, and in most cases, their temperament. Salespeople think of CRM as a major disruption with little or no benefit to them as individuals. They often see system usage as a distraction from working with customers and driving revenue. Salespeople are reluctant and at best just-in-time data entry clerks. And when the demands for data exceed what sellers feel is necessary at the time, they start skipping steps and may or may not catch up to them later in the sales cycle. Most will batch their CRM entries daily or weekly, relying on memory or sketchy notes. And one solution to this issue is to customize the CRM to support sales activities in context, so data input is part of the natural flow of the sales process. With enough investment, this process can be successful with inside sales or call center employees with very defined processes. The challenge has been with outside sales teams, as well as those focused on complex or big ticket sales. With more team members, more buyers, and sales activities, the demands for sales entry expands. The issue for these teams is that in many cases, salespeople are part of an account team with members outside the sales group, many of whom are not users of the system. This requires salespeople collect this data, these notes, from the rest of the team, and once again manually input it into the system. When we think back to the investment drivers, the reasons why people invest in CRM, most of these involve visibility and insight. And generally, the quality and quantity of data entered into the system with this model, with the standard salesperson entering data, will be inadequate to provide the visibility or insights that drove leadership to make a CRM investment in the first place. Without good data, businesses won't be able to measure the value of their client accounts and personalize sales and service. They'll have limited insight into what their customers think, and they won't be able to measure or manage the factors that could improve win and customer retention rates. And that data problem is compounded by the fact that most rating, scoring, and value assessment criteria are made subjectively by users based on limited visibility and finite experience. Even the most rational and self-aware people can't completely eliminate personal bias. And if that bias is baked into evaluation criteria, that impact is felt at every level of forecasting and planning. Sometimes lead and opportunity rating systems based on popular marketing and sales methodologies, such as inbound marketing or challenge or solution sales, what have you, are coded into the system. In reality, there is little statistical analysis behind any of those methodologies, and to be effectively implemented, even still, they need to be customized to a specific market. For example, out of the box, inbound marketing is the same methodology whether you're selling $35 print cartridges, $15,000 consulting engagements, or $250,000 industrial equipment sales, right? So the specifics really have to be tailored by the experience of that company and their company history. And even if the initial criteria is accurate, few businesses bother to review criteria as markets shift. Even mature, stable markets change over time, so sooner or later, static criteria will become stale. The subjectivity issue is even more pronounced in the actual value assessment of leads and opportunities that drive pipeline reports. Evaluation criteria, when created, is based on hypotheticals, and there's a limited emotional attachment or personal interest in defining criteria, allowing people to be about as objective as people can be. On the other hand, when it comes to gaining actual leads and actual opportunities, that emotional detachment is much more difficult to maintain. People feel an ownership of their opportunities, they feel an ownership of their leads, and they feel a tie to those. And even in the systems that are designed to support those methodologies, there's always going to be a workaround and override enabling data to be massaged to fit a desired projection. And the end result is inaccurate pipeline reporting and poor forecasting, which frustrates leadership whose decision to invest in CRM was driven by that desire for insight, visibility, and better forecasting. These three key issues result in what we call the vicious cycle of CRM failure. Limited adoption and participation, because the CRM system usage is restricted to sales and service teams with limited motivation to use the system, results in insufficient data. Data entry and integration obstacles and challenges minimize the volume of usable information in the system, leading to inaccurate analytics and forecasting. Analytics and forecasts are based on limited data, static criteria, and bias assumption, which creates executive frustration because the executives cannot get insight into the customer journey. They're unable to get visibility into KPIs and lack confidence in the pipeline reports and revenue forecasts. Because they don't see value in the system, they budget inadequate resources with insufficient resources allocated to the business process support and improved usability of the system. That leads to more resistance and reduced usage. So AI really is projected to be the next big driver in CRM. And many in the industry, including us, are looking at AI and machine learning as a way to address these people problems. IDC calculates that AI associated with CRM activities will boost global business revenues by 1.1 trillion. This is a big trend. And with AI having the ability to impact so many areas of CRM, IDC further reports that CRM providers are expecting businesses to implement CRM software at a much higher rate than we've already seen because of the ease of use it's going to offer all of these sales and marketing and support teams. AI really improves the user and customer experience significantly, and that's going to encourage more adoption. Now, when we focus on sales, we see three primary areas of impact where AI can address the people problems that we identified earlier. And these three are automation, sales forecasts, and impacting the customer journey. Now, with AI, CRM software can implement powerful automations, take time-consuming tasks like data entry out of people's hands in order to prioritize more important customer-facing and revenue-generating tasks throughout the day. Again, we see the reliance on sales team members as the primary data entry vehicle for CRM to be the foundational issue. Automating data entry with AI can vastly improve the quality and quantity of customer and opportunity information in your system. By improving the quality and quantity of data in your CRM system, AI increases the confidence that decision makers are going to have in your data and the forecasts that are based on it. AI can analyze data in a fraction of the time that traditional BI teams would need and creates accurate forecasts and what-if analyses on a very short notice, in some cases instantly. AI minimizes that human bias, predicting sales cycle length and probabilities of closing. Pipeline recording and forecasts are generated algorithmically and based on historical data rather than individual experience and gut feel. AI doesn't get happy ears like sales team members and managers might. And the importance of sales forecasts is incredibly high. Businesses with accurate forecasting can more effectively budget and plan. Not only can they operate more efficiently and profitably, they can make larger investments and bigger bets with less risk than competitors who have less confidence in the accuracy of their forecasting. And finally, customer journeys, because AI can track patterns in buyer behaviors and past interaction with the business that would be easily missed by people. AI can help determine what sales people should do with their clients in terms of how to go about the sales process to improve efficiency and close ratios, and what they can do afterwards to maximize revenue and customer satisfaction. So, here we have the traditional CRM. Here we have the opportunity then to see how AI makes CRM work. CRM there's active participation as CRM is integral to the system provides value to our salespeople and managers. Excuse me, I'm just getting a little technical issue here. I'll be right back on. All right. That leads to AI insights and guidance. The algorithmic-based analytics are delivered through role-based dashboards and in-context processes. Now, the executives will gain clarity and visibility into the business, accurate forecasts for planning and budgeting, which gives them confidence in making decision investments based on CRM. And then CRM is perceived as a vital resource for strategic planning and execution, and worthy of continued investment to enhance the user experience and expand functionality, which continues on into more active participation, more and better use of the system. So with that, I'm going to pass things over to Robbie Morrison and give you a look at our SalesConnect solution and how we address a lot of these issues.
Great, thank you, Dave. So hopefully my screen will start sharing in just a moment. Dave, can you confirm you can see my screen now?
I can, in fact.
All right, thank you. So thanks, everyone. So our solution to the people problem is an AI-based solution. We call it SalesConnect. It's built on the Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer engagement platform, utilizing artificial intelligence, the power of the Microsoft Intelligent Cloud, and our own special sauce to make intelligent decisions and empower the sales managers, sales teams, and the executives to grow their business. It simplifies the overall CRM experience by providing the organization with a level of clarity and transparency to build their business and trust their pipelines, trust that their salespeople are telling them accurately what will close, what will not close, and be able to see what activities could improve that close, the likelihood of close. So it's a modern CRM solution with AI and the power of the cloud. It's an AI-enabled intelligent acquisition, pulling data from social aspects, things like LinkedIn, pulling data from your email, your calendar, all of your interactions that go on, pulling that across the organization into your CRM system. It normalizes the data and then scores it based on things that can be found in those interactions and potentially social interactions that are going on. Delivers those algorithmic-based analytics through role-based dashboards, in context, in the grid insights to provide views of what needs to be looked at, what's your most likely to close, what opportunities or contacts or even customers are beginning to trend negatively. So as a positive relationship becomes a negative relationship, you're able to see that in the system and get that data before someone is willing to raise their hand and say they have an unhappy client or an opportunity that's going sour. By doing all of this, it increases that pipeline probability and helps to put focus where it's needed. The agility of the solution is really around the Microsoft Intelligent Cloud. Microsoft's put a lot of investments into machine learning, and we're taking taking a lot of that goodness and building it into a sales intelligence solution that allows you to really eliminate a lot of the cost and complexities that would have been needed in the past to have that same kind of AI solution. So here I'm going to show a quick demo of the solution. I want to say that it's hard to demo an artificial intelligence solution that pulls data across the web and across emails and calendars with demo data. So this is less than ideal from the way it would be presented and the demo data that backs this up, but I'm still going to show some of the aspects of it, and I'll talk around some of the problems that I can't show with the demo data that I have today. And hopefully in future demos we'll have better ability to do this. But yeah, for instance, here you're seeing that I don't have a lot of open leads, so just in this dashboard. So let's go into our leads, and you'll see that some of these leads are graded. We have a grade here of a C. Looks like all of my leads are currently at a C, most likely because a lot of this data is getting a little bit older. If we go in to understand what this means, you can see that my leads at the qualification stage, that you have a timeline of activities that have gone on at this lead. And over here, I'm getting a predictive score, lead score of an 8. That's a pretty low score. It's on a scale of 1 to 100. As it moves through the opportunity phases, it'll of course need to increase in likelihood in scoring. So a grade of 8 in a when it's still a lead isn't horrible. It's again a C grade, but you don't expect all of your leads to close tomorrow. So you can see here that the annual revenue is high, so it's a large percentage of the annual revenue of this customer. So we're asking them to spend, something that's potential. There's we don't have a title that matches the social title of this person, and some other things. Again, this is demo data, so you're getting somewhat less informative reasons that your predictive score is low, but you can see that that if we fix some of these things, understand the lead a little better, then maybe we can move it to an opportunity and start increasing that score and the probability of close. So let's go over to an opportunity that's already progressed, and you'll see we have some here that are still a C, a D, some pretty poor leads down at the bottom. But if we go into one that's at a B grade, looks like our probability of close is pretty good. We've got a score of a 73 on this one. A lot more activity to drive this. Probably a 73 because our opportunity close date, our original opportunity close date, has passed. So it's not as when you say something's going to close on a date and then that date passes and it hasn't closed, of course, that's a bad sign. We've also got some grading scales that say for the cost of this implementation, the number of employees at this company is low. It pulled all of this from social means to understand the customer. Our estimated close date is aging, so it's very close, and we haven't finished some of the things that we need to do. And then it seems that our address, for one reason or another, probably because we don't have an address in this demo data, is not matching some of the other things it's able to find. So what this tells us is if we're expecting to close this on the 21st, and we have a revenue, we're seeing revenue of 200 from a sales manager perspective, we need to put some focus on this, figure out if we've already lost this deal and it needs to get out of our pipeline, or we just need to spend more effort to close this deal. And again, all of these scores come through no interaction of the salespeople, just them sending emails, them doing different things that they would already be doing with the prospects, and it gathers all of that social intelligence and pulls it in. You can see on a lead that's at a little lower grade, we have a grade of 40 here. We're still in the developing phase. So again, we haven't moved this into the proposal. We haven't sent a proposal yet. We have a lot more data that appears to not match what the social intelligence is telling us that it should match. So we maybe have bad information, or we don't know the client well enough to be able to put that data in. So that's more the lead and opportunity side of an AI-driven solution. What about when those become customers and you need to start interacting with them as a customer? I'm going to go over to the sales side of the solution, and we have a dashboard here that again doesn't have great demo data behind it for the social interactions, but we have one where we've connected into our email system and done some stuff. You see the Velosio lead here. It's saying it's got the highest lead score in our customers. You can see our activities really ratcheted up email-wise recently. You can see the number of people interacting and what's going on. There's some other things we can do in it, but let's go into that to those accounts and kind of look at it from that aspect. So if we're in our standard account form, which is where a lot of the interactions happen, and we go into that account, as soon as it loads, we'll be able to see all of the different interactions that's happened. And if we come down to our dashboard, oh, sorry, it's not loading for me. So we couldn't do this without a technical issue, so give me just a second. Sorry, for some reason my iframes aren't loading, so maybe I might have to talk around this. Let me go back in one more time. Okay, so I'm having a technical challenge. Won't be able to show this. Let me make sure that I don't have another issue here. Okay, sorry. It was defaulting to the wrong view. So as this data loads, I'll talk through it. So first off, we're pulling in the data from Velosio and Predict, pulling it in, getting a lot of the information that we can get on social platforms. It tells us a lot about the customer, when it was founded. Then we pull that data down into a interactions graph. As you can see here, we have a interactions, how this customer is interacting with our team. You can see who at your customer is interfacing, what kind of level of interface is happening. You can see here the Sales 2 users talking to a lot of people. If you click on that, you see all of the email interactions, calendar interactions, any IMs, any documents that were shared through OneDrive or any other aspects that we have connected. And you can start to see the interaction trail. What this does for you is tell you who is interacting with the customer, and if you have a problem, you're able to hopefully go to that customer and their interactions with the client to get insight into the problems. You're also able to pull up any documents that were shared across the shared with the customer. So if there was an email sent that had an attachment and it was sent by, say, a support person in your organization, well, that would show up here. If you have the security set to allow it to show up, it would show up here, and you'd be able to get that document without having to go out and ask the support person to send you what that was sent to that client that you're managing. So it really manages the full interactions with the client, make sure that all of the email, all of the calendar invitations, everything is showing up here, and you know who has a relationship with the client, so that you can pull up on their knowledge if need be. So that is a quick overview of some of the sales intelligence solutions, both from an opportunity, lead, and account perspective. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint, hopefully, and talk about how we're doing some of this. So first, how does SalesConnect accomplish this? Well, it's done again through that AI-enabled data acquisition and insight guidance. First, SalesConnect uses the AI to automate the acquisition of the data across the organization. Then using those publicly available sources, the data is enriched so that it can be analyzed. We take that data, we run it through algorithms to know if those are positive interactions with the customer, they're negative. Maybe there's words like "great job," well, that'd give us a positive score, or there's words like "your proposal's way too high," or something like that. Well, we'd know those are or negative interactions. And of course, that's just a simplified example. But after that data is enriched, we analyze it and then provide that analysis onto those dashboards, and those real-time analytics are able to be done by your sales leadership and your sales team to know, where should I go and spend my time? What should I proactively work on to increase the likelihood of meeting my quota and driving sales for the organization? And again, on the customer side, know where customers are trending negatively. Know if you've got over time a customer engagement score going from 100 to 60, then you know that something negatively impacted that customer, and you need to go and have conversations and try to smooth the problems over. Those dashboards, there's account management dashboards that track the engagements, the order renewal dates. You can view all of this in different places. They're either iframes or actually, they can be actual CRM reports inside of the solution. That opportunity management dashboard that really doesn't provide a good demo today because of the data isn't broad enough to provide a opportunity dashboard, but it provides that level of engagement that where where to spend your effort to close sales and drive your pipeline forward. And then those team performance dashboards for the sales management to know, hey, I've got a salesman that's saying he's going to close $1 million in business this quarter, but he's not interacting with any of the customers that he needs to close that $1 million in business. The last interaction was maybe a month ago. He's either sitting on his hands or that customer's not answering his calls, so there's no interaction going on. Or maybe he's sending emails, but they're not being answered. All the things that allow you to, as a sales manager, to understand the health of the pipeline. And then we give the executives, the business leaders, insights into those same analytics and be able to accurately forecast their revenue utilizing the probability of their pipeline closing. And then on those guided insights, we're able to understand the who's who at your opportunities and your customers. There's some things that we're not able to show in the demo, but there's notes analysis that as you're putting in notes into the customer screens, the AI is able to recommend next steps. So maybe you're putting in an item like I'll send in the notes that quote needs to be sent. It'll recommend that you create a follow-up action and really be able to drive the sales forward utilizing analysis of the notes being put in. Same thing, talking points. We're able to pull items from social and past communications and extract some of those key things, like maybe they're really into the Georgia Bulldogs and they want them to beat Alabama on Saturday. So we'd talk about that if you were calling me. There's some health of the family. Maybe in past conversations they had a sick child. You want to make sure that child's doing well. All of those kind of things can be recommended to you as talking points when you're interacting with the prospects or customers. There's recommended assets can be pulled from all across your organization utilizing technology similar to Delve, if you've used Delve in Office 365, and really be able to serve those up as attachments to your opportunities. You can get them out there. And then, of course, you have the action cards that we can put anywhere throughout the D365 system to allow for quick information sharing. So I went through the demonstration first. So now we're going to go to the SalesConnect. Really, there's a couple of aspects to our SalesConnect. We have our SalesConnect simplicity. That really is everything that we talked about today. It's the SalesConnect solution inside the D365 for sales, and we have a accelerated implementation solution for that we'll talk about a deal we have on later. But we're able to get you up and running with the full solution in as little as 30 days. Next, we have a Simplicity Switch, which is really a full service solution to migrate from Salesforce to Dynamics 365 with SalesConnect. It's a modern sales solution stack, and we can do that switch for you with the data migration in as little as 4 weeks. And then if you've already got D365 customer engagement or D365 for sales, we can implement our SalesConnect solution, all the sales intelligence into your environment very quickly. And one of the specials we'll talk about is around that as well. So with that, I want to answer any questions before I talk about our offers for early adopters.
Thanks, Robbie. We did have a couple of questions. Will this work with on-premise versions of Dynamics CRM and Exchange Server?
The full solution does not work with all versions of on-prem. We can insert the iframe controls for the customer engagement and customer engagement scoring with any of the versions of D365 sales that's been released in the last 4 years. We can interface with Exchange all the way back to I think it was Exchange 2000, so the same protocols are in place. So really old versions of Exchange Online. The parts that we can is really around the lead and opportunity scoring. Those are only available to the D365 Sales Cloud solution, not the on-prem solution. But we also are seeing that most customers are migrating to the cloud solution these days. Okay.
How do you deal with security?
Oh, that's a long conversation, but we've taken security in all of these aspects, both with the Microsoft components and with the analysis of the email that we're doing very seriously. We randomize all the data. We encrypt all the data that's stored inside of the Azure system with high encryption rates. I think it's 256, maybe even higher than that. Encryption. We take that data and we serve it back up using the Active Directory authentication to make sure that the user that's seeing the screen is the user that has access to the screen. And again, when we're scoring things that are available to others in the organization, all of that scoring's done by randomizing the data sets. None of the data is shared out outside of the system unless you choose to use the Velosio and Predict to get some of your client data. There is a level there of information you need to share back to Velosio, just so they make sure they're keeping their customer database up to date. But that's an option you can either elect to go with or not. So just kind of trying to summarize, I'd say that security is done through both encrypting and through randomizing the data sets that are being analyzed. Okay.
That's all of the questions we have right now.
Okay, so great. Well, with that, let me talk about a special offer we have for early adopters. Really, for the first 10 customers that raise their hand, we're going to provide a 50% discount on the licensing. We also will do the implementation side of the SalesConnect, so implementing it into your existing CE solution for free. There's no charge for the professional services side. We'll implement and load it into your system for no charge from a professional services. If you're doing a full sales implementation, looking to have us implement D365 for sales with SalesConnect, we also have an offer where we'll roll all of that into a monthly charge, so there's no upfront fee, all the licenses, all the professional services for the implementation can be rolled into a monthly reoccurring charge. So your upfront investment is extremely low. So we really have 3 offers there available, and you can reach out to your sales team member, your customer team member, and ask them questions about this, and they'll have a lot more to share on our early adopters program. Okay. Well, I believe with that we are done. We got done early today, so probably because I didn't have a great set of demo to show all the features, but I appreciate your time. Is there any questions that came in last minute?
Nope, but thanks Robbie and Dave for the great presentation, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.